Let us go back to the year 1921. It's a very interesting article in Young India. Of course, a lot has been said about Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and the equations with Mahatma Gandhi. I have with me a reply given by Mahatma Gandhiji to an anonymous letter written to him during 1921. And this reply was published on 13th July 1921 in Young India. Let's see what this is about. A strange anonymous letter has been received by me, admiring me for having taken up a cause that was dearest to Lokamanya's heart and telling me that his spirit was residing in me and that I must prove a worthy follower of his. The letter, moreover, admonishes me not to lose heart in the prosecution of the Swaraj program and finishes off by accusing me of imposture, claiming to be politically a disciple of Gokhale. I wish correspondents will throw off the slavish habit of writing anonymously. We who are developing the Swaraj spirit must cultivate the courage of fearlessly speaking out our mind. The subject matter of the letter, however, being of public importance, demands a reply. I cannot claim the honor of being a follower of the late Lokmanya. I admire him like millions of his countrymen for his indomitable will, his vast learning, his love of country, and above all the purity of his private life and great sacrifice. Of all the men of modern times, he captivated most the imagination of his people. He breathed into us the spirit of Swaraj. No one perhaps realized the evil of the existing system of government as Mr. Tilak did. And in all humility, I claim to deliver his message to the country as truly as the best of his disciples. But I am conscious that my method is not Mr. Tilak's method. And that is why I have still difficulty with some of the Maharashtra leaders. But I sincerely think that Mr. Tilak did not disbelieve in my method. I enjoyed the privilege of his confidence. And his last word to me in the presence of several friends was just a fortnight before his death that mine was an excellent method if the people could be persuaded to take to it. But he said he had doubts. I know no other method. I can only hope that when the final test comes, the country will be proved to have assimilated the method of non-violent non-cooperation. Nor am I unaware of my other limitations. I can lay no claim to scholarship. I have not his powers of organization. I have no compact, disciplined party to lead, and having been an exile for 23 years, having been in exile for 23 years, I cannot claim the experience that the Lokamanya had of India. Two things we had in common to the fullest measure: love of country and the steady pursuit of Swaraj. I can therefore assure the anonymous writer that, yielding to none in my reverence for the memory of the deceased, I will march side by side with the foremost of the Lokamanya's disciples in the pursuit of Swaraj. I know that the only offering acceptable to him is the quickest attainment of Swaraj by India. That and nothing else can give his spirit peace. Discipleship, however, is a sacred personal matter. I fell at Dadabhai's feet in 1888, but he seemed to be too far away from me. I could be as son to him, not disciple. A disciple is more than a son. Discipleship is a second birth. It is a voluntary surrender. In 1896, I met almost all the known leaders of India in connection with my South African mission. Just as Ranade awed me, I could hardly talk in his presence. Badruddin Taibji fathered me and asked me to be guided by Ranade and Feroz Shah. The latter became a pattern. His will had to be law. You must address a public meeting on the 26th September and you must be punctual. I obeyed. On the 25th evening, I was to wait on him. I did. Have you written out your speech? He inquired. No, sir. That won't do, young man. Can you write it out tonight? Munshi, you must go to Mr. Gandhi and receive the manuscript from him. It must be printed overnight and you must send me a copy. Turning to me, he added, Gandhi, you must not write a long speech. You do not know Bombay audiences cannot stand long addresses. I bowed. The line of Bombay taught me to take orders. He did not make me his disciple. He did not even try. I went thence to Pune. I was an utter stranger. My host first took me to Mr. Tilak. I met him surrounded by his companions. He listened and said, We must arrange a meeting for you. But perhaps you do not know that we have unfortunately two parties. You must give us a non-party man as chairman. Will you see Dr. Bhandarkar? I consented and retired. I have no firm impression of Mr. Tilak except to recall that he shook off my nervousness by his affectionate familiarity. I went thence, I think, to Gokhale and then to Dr. Bhandarkar. The latter greeted me as a teacher, his pupil. You seem to be an earnest and enthusiastic young man. Many people do not come to see me at this, the hottest part of the day. I never nowadays attend public meetings, but you have recited such a pathetic story that I must make an exception in your favor. I worshipped the venerable doctor with his wise face, but I could not find for him a place on that little throne. It was still unoccupied. I had many heroes, but no king. It was different with Gokhale. I cannot say why. I met him at his quarters on the college ground. It was like meeting an old friend, or better still, a mother after a long separation. His gentle face put me at ease in a moment. His minute inquiries about myself and my doings in South Africa at once enshrined him at my heart. And as I parted from him, I said to myself, You are my man. And from that moment, Gokhale never lost sight of me. In 1901, on my second return from South Africa, we came closer still. He simply took me in hand and began to fashion me. He was concerned about how I spoke, dressed, walked, and ate. My mother was not more solicitous about me than Gokhale. There was, as far as I am aware, no reserve between us. It was really a case of love at first sight, and it stood the severest strain in 1913. He seemed to me all I wanted as a political worker, pure as crystal, gentle as a lamb, brave as a lion, and chivalrous to a fault. It does not matter to me that he may not have been any of these things. It was enough for me that I could discover no fault in him to cavil at. He was and remains for me the most perfect man on the political field. Not therefore that we had no differences. We differed even in 1901 in our views on social customs, example, widow remarriage. We discovered differences in our estimate of Western civilization. He frankly differed from me in my extreme views on non-violence. But these differences mattered neither to him nor to me. Nothing could put as agenda. It were blasphemous to conjecture what would have happened if he were alive today. I know that I would have been working under him. I have made this confession because the anonymous letter hurt me when it accused me of imposture about my political discipleship. Had I been remiss in my acknowledgement to him who is now dumb, I thought I must declare my faithfulness to Gokhale, especially when I seem to be living in a camp which the Indian world calls opposite.